Welcome to Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City, one of my favorite cities. Since I'm traveling, I thought we should talk about wheels. Wheels that made traveling easier for all of us. In 1958, David Dudley Bloom had an idea that should have changed his life and the world. Bloom was working at the Atlantic Luggage Company in the US. He was in charge of product development for a popular line of travel luggage. And one day he had a light bulb moment. Why do these heavy and cumbersome suitcases not have wheels? It would make them so much easier to move around. So Bloom made a prototype. It was a suitcase attached to a platform with small wheels and a handle. Bloom took the prototype to the chairman of the Atlantic Luggage Company. Bloom was excited and optimistic. Bloom thought it was the best idea in the history of luggage. It would allow the company to dominate a multi-billion-dollar global market. So how did the chairman react? He looked at the prototype and asked, "Who would like to buy luggage on wheels?" He called the prototype for impractical and unhandy. That's how you kill an idea. That was back in 1958. Let's go to 1970. In 1970, Bernard Sato, an American luggage executive, unscrewed 4 casters from a wardrobe and attached them to a suitcase. Then he put a strap on this contraption and pulled it around his house. Sato brought the idea of wheeled suitcases to the market. This time the resistance came from the department stores. The department stores had so much to gain in new sales, but they all threw him out. Stearns, Macy's, A&S, all of them. Sato said they all thought I was crazy, pulling a piece of luggage. It was only when Sato managed to meet a vice president from Macy's that he finally secured the deal. The vice president got it, and he called the purchase manager who originally rejected the idea and told him to place the order. So what happened? The customers needed no convincing. They loved suitcases with wheels, and the rest is history. But here's the weird thing. We went to the moon before we accepted suitcases with wheels. Why did it take so long? Let me give you one of the reasons. In 1970, there was this macho feeling. Men were supposed to carry the luggage for their wives. It was a manly thing to do. It was not manly to pull a suitcase on wheels. But there's something else. Many of us struggle with change, not because we don't understand that we can combine ideas, but we ignore the possibilities. We assume that innovation is for those really creative types like the cool people in Silicon Valley, and we expect those real innovators to strive for the big, complex, complicated stuff like self-driving cars and flying to Mars. So we tend to ignore the simplest solutions like putting wheels on a suitcase. In an earlier video, I explained this principle using Legos. Each brick represents an existing idea and you can combine them in different ways to create new ideas. And then, suddenly, a suitcase on wheels, it works like magic. It's time for a haircut or maybe a trim. I know what you're thinking. This is one of the Liem Barber barbershops in Saigon. Liem Barber is a barbershop brand that mixes the Mexican gang style Chicano and cool haircuts. And everything is on brand, the haircuts, the shop design, the way the barbers look, and the rap music. While these barbers look badass, they are actually really nice guys. And here's the killer. A haircut is just $5. $5 US. Liem always wanted to make sure that anyone and everyone can afford a haircut at his barbershop. When I first met Liem in 2016, he had one barbershop. Now it's 2023 and Liem has 15 shops in Saigon and Hanoi. And this is Liem's latest business. It's called Viet Monster. And here you can have a cool haircut, a tattoo, or buy some clothes. Yeah, 3 ideas coming together. It's also what you call a lifestyle brand, and Viet Monster is very clear about who they are and who they are not. Vietnam is a socialist country with a lot of traditional Asian values, so creating something like Liem Barber and Viet Monster is radical. So what? If you want to promote creativity and new ideas, think about how you can combine existing ideas to something new, just like Liem Barber. My name is Thomas Bay, and I hope you enjoyed this special edition from Saigon. Until next time, make things better and make better things. Boom!